Thank you, Simon, having me here to talk about my latest project, the Energy House or the Das Energiehaus in Isny. I would like to introduce you all in what is it about, how we manage the project, what we actually built and why, and what you need to start. So first, what is it about? I guess I should you let know something about the school setting. The school is just a normal German gymnasium, which is kind of a grammar school. The student's age is between 10 and 18. After graduation, called Abitur, the students can study at university. Our school is not a special technical school or vocational school. That's important for the later thing. The students learn normal literature, history, chemistry, Latin, and so on. So, yeah, well, and as Simon told already, I teach math and physics quite for a long time now. And you said, well, I couldn't imagine that we meet again talking English together. We don't have subjects like woodwork or engineering at our school. Therefore, we don't have a class for building a house. But actually, that is what we did. We built a house. We built a 100 square meter house with students with the aim of making the house as energy as efficient, sustainable, ecological, and comfortable as possible. It was the biggest school project of my life in terms of student participation, reach, costs, and of course, responsibility. I was asked not just once, are you insane? Well, what shall I answer? Yes, of course. But isn't it like this? The important thing in teaching is to enable students to make the right decisions in their generation. This requires knowledge and experience. And if I can put my part to that, I'll try it. Let me be more specific now. How did we manage it, building a house? The main guideline for me was not a single step without the students. From the first planning to the actual construction, because then it is a learning object and not just a house in the garden. You see the timeline. We started in 2016, the planning. 3 years later, the construction. At that time, I thought it will take about a year and a half. Not just Corona extended the process, and you learn that I am really an optimist. The first question was, do we need such a house? And what for? We developed a concept, made architecture plans, and thought about finances. For the first 2 years, we handled the whole project. as an utopia. How did it become real? Even because the legal situation in Germany is kind of difficult. Because a German school is not allowed to own anything. A German school is not even allowed to sign any contracts. But an association can do. Lucky as we were, we had already a close to school association from earlier projects with students. Our Solarverein, that's the name, runs 3 photovoltaic power plants on the rooftop of the school. The official goal of the association is to support environmental education since 2005. Lucky as we are, we didn't have to buy the ground. The city of Izny gave it to the association for 100 years. Oh, I forgot to. You can read now what I told you. Okay. Let's have a look at the finances. The total sum is 320,000 euros. Lucky as we are, the Solarverein gains in some years up to 20,000 euros by selling PV energy. Thus, we were able to sell bonds to teachers, parents, and students for some point, and another 100,000 are just hard work on our own performance on the construction area. And the last 100,000 euros are collected through fundraising and discounts and so on. Also hard work, but it is definitely necessary to have that part in the finances because it is necessary in terms of identification and participation in the project for the people that who can't help on the construction area. Okay. But how could students build a house with their teachers? You remember I'm a math and physics teacher, not more. Important is a functioning network. For every step, we had one expert from the region. The collaboration was diverse. Some experts came and gave lessons to the students. Others just told me at the phone how to do the next step. Some gave homework and discussed or controlled it later. Others invited us to their production hall or the company. I could experience that all companies were highly interested in the work with us and brought patience and appreciation towards our students. How did we manage it? Directly. We had to organize the construction in our free time because we are a normal school. We don't have subjects to do that. So we met once a week for organization and every Friday afternoon for construction. And now you can imagine why it took all those years. If you build a house on Fridays, it takes a while. During the first year, in addition, on Saturdays and half of every vacation. Surprising for outsiders was that the students came voluntarily. Now I want to describe, not too detailed, the most important facts about the building itself. Actually, we have a wood box. The walls are the same as the floor and the roof. Keep it simple. The construction is a timber frame. The insulation is wooden as well. In case of deconstruction, the waste is minimal. The wall is in total 50 centimeters thick. You can imagine that the house is comparable to a thermos flask. If it is warm inside, it stays warm inside for a long time. Thus, we need little energy to heat the room. It would be enough to use one single hairdryer or 10 students to heat the room. The ventilation system provides fresh air without energy loss. To continue the idea of the learning object, we put sensors in the house. The students can study the reaction of the room in diverse situations, for example, and then use the data in physics or math or whatever, geography, biology. So the few other facts, we have it concepted as a multifunctional room with a good sound system and a projector. So we can start a cinema or have talks. We have sewing machines and a kitchen and a bathroom. Let me talk now about the subject, why did we do it? And as a teacher, of course, I have to tell you something about the pedagogical aspects. Students experience self-efficacy. They do something and see a result, and it is good. Responsibility, and that's kind of the project design. They have, we talked a lot about how to decide, and we decide the decisions we met together. And the decisions based on knowledge and criteria. Students get in contact with a lot of professions, with people outside of the school and the publicity. And students, of course, learn about sustainability a lot anyway. A few side effects I want to mention. You see the students already. They get an idea what to do after graduation. And you see, they all were influenced by the project. We have studies, students, and but we have woodworker as well. You see on the right, carpenter, forester, organ builder. Another side effect is students prevail in an application process. They just need to mention the project in the talk, and the institutions were very interested, and they wanted to learn more about it. And what shall I say? They got the job. Last but not least, it almost doesn't matter in which setting you teach students skills for their future. My hope is whatever they work or do later, they decide with a sustainable background. Finally, the question, if you want to start a similar project, what do you need to start? What do you need to start? You need somehow a ground or a place, of course. A planning office for advice, and a team in school helps a lot. You need an idea to get money. Time, of course, but very important, no time pressure. I hope you have got an idea of the Energy House project and conclude that it is not that insane. Thank you for listening. Now I'm ready for a few questions. And of course, you can send me an email for further questions afterwards.
Thank you so much, David. I really liked your talk. It's also funny and entertaining and informative. I really like that. Sean has some really good questions for you. You said something about this in the previous slide already. If you were advising a school that was undertaking a similar project, what advice would you give them? What are the important lessons you learned along the way?
Patience. Patience is maybe the most important thing I learned. In the first step, I thought I can work under construction with the students, but I really learned quickly that I am just the manager on the construction area, and the students have to work, and I have to run from one place to the next place to help them to do the stuff. So my working power was just talking almost all the time, and so the students do it for the first time and work really slow. So you need just patience, 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 and you need good people around you. That's another thing, to talk and to get advice.
Okay, about the talking, I have one question, because it seemed in the beginning you also talked about, it's more or less also a democratic process that you're having with the students, right? Because you need to decide on things, and this, I mean, just talking is probably not enough, because it's guiding the students through their through this project, through these decisions. And maybe you want to add something here?
Yeah, you're totally right. The guiding through these decisions is, I mean, we are adults. We have a lot more experience in life, and and all that stuff, and even the construction thing, I have more experience. So what I tried to do was just show the options, and that the options from the very beginning, beginning with the question, do we need a house? And when yes, for what? What should happen in that house, to get an idea how the house should be, what the house must do. And in the process, well, an easy question is, what color should the wall have? And
But
so
maybe
on.
even there you have a long discussion, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then because you just said also it's a lot about the good people around you. How was this? How well established were you as a person already in the community of this little town? And did you make those connections and building your network through this project, or was this in part also present before?
That's a good question. Um, to be honest, I was active before, but I think it would work as well if you start with a network right then. Um, I'm in a network since about 2007. We started in ISNI a project to totally go to regenerative energies and get independent of fossil energies. And so I knew already a few people with the same mindset. And a key role is the planning office. I really know him good, and he planned my own house too in 2009. So we worked already in other projects together. And on the other hand, I built already with students the 3 power plants, PV power plants on the rooftop. Maybe you remember the first one. So I had already connections and a network, but definitely the network increased during that project.
So yeah, the first PV panels were in 2004 or 5, if
Five, yeah.
Yeah. So because I was saying in the intro, it was 10 years ago, but I aged also and got lost track of time. All right. And Myrte's question actually to your previous answer about the planning and designing fits well to your last answer, because how was the involvement of your students in the whole planning and designing part? You were showing us also a little graph from an architect. How did you involve your student in this part?
Yeah, we had a few sessions to find out how we want to have it. Then we went to the architecture with a little group and told them our ideas. After that, we got the program, the actually planning program software, and did it for 2 months. Students just learned the software and made first steps. Then we went back to the office, and they told us, oh, that looks all right, and now you should go in this direction, and did you think about that? Another 2 months later, we went to the office again with the new plan. And so the plan developed step by step. And that's why the planning took also 3 years.
Okay. All right, then we have one more question from Rosa in the chat. What are your suggestions for someone in another country that would like to replicate what you did? What are your advices?
Well, I don't know the well, it depends on the region and on the framework in the country, but the most important suggestion is you have to have fun to work with the students in some fancy project with sustainable ideas. And then get a partner, maybe the head of the school, to discuss how a project like this can be established in that region, in another country.
Okay.
Is that an answer? I don't know.
I think so, yeah. Because I mean, you also already discussed or showed in your Rosa saying yes, thank you. But I think you also already showed it in your talk, because you also said that, you know, you just said that legal framework is something, and in Germany this might be different, like if your school can own a property or not. These are a few things, and I think what you added just fit well. And then there's one more question from Sean. Thanks for all those questions, by the way. Were there any unexpected learning experience from undertaking the Energy House? How has it impacted your school and students for the better?
I have to think about that question. So what was surprising? Well, I mean, what I really like is to work with students parallel to normal lessons. You get another experience and relationship. You talk on the level of talking is different. You learn about the students, how they think, and how they actually work. And it's totally different. And as a math teacher, most of the students are very quiet. And they have respect of math, and and in projects like this, they are more open, and you learn as a teacher that they really have abilities you never could imagine.
Because you get to know them personally.
Right, and you learn their ideas.
Mm-hmm. But a school is also a sort of safe environment for pupils. But the moment you start building a house, they meet the outside world because they have to take all these decisions and being not guided. So I can imagine that. How did they respond to legal issues? Did you confront them with that?
Yeah.
And because that would be a complete different subject they would not have expected. I think they were thinking about hammering nails in wooden boards, and then suddenly it turns out there's a lot more to it than hammering nails in wooden boards.
Yeah, that's right. The doing has consequences.
Yes.
You don't get just a mark. Well, you put in the nail like a 5. That's not what we want. We want that the wood piece is on the wall.
Yes.
And perfectly.
And did you? The other thing is, I think math and biology can be really abstract for pupils. but I assume that you also had some kind of relationship between math and physics and the house. So that does it bring to them more joy of math, because they sort of can bridge suddenly the abstract of math to the usefulness in real life.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's an application of all the school stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And coming back to the second part of Sean's question, I mean, you answered the unexpected learning experiences, but how did your school project impact your school and the life of your students for the better?
Yeah, let's start with the life of the students. I told you already that the curriculum vitae is influenced by the project. But even decisions the students have to they decide in their lives right now, like do I want to become a vegetarian, for example, and some say yes, others no, and they try it. And well, and I did a project already in the house with sewing some clothing out of old clothing, so recycling or upcycling. And this is a mindset I can transport well with the house. So the image of the house is now sustainability, and we do projects in there, but also we discuss themes of future. So this has an influence. On the other hand, this building is just next to the school. And of course, it has an impact to our school lives in how to use that house. It's totally separate to the school. So whenever you need a calm space for a group of students or teachers, you can use the house. We have a lot of extern bookings too. So we are more in publicity as school having such a house. People come to the house right next to the school. So shall I say we're more famous? That's maybe too much, but
no, but it's perfect because
yeah.
it brings you closer to the
university.
Yeah.
And how the impact for the whole school in behavior and sustainability is, well, I'm excited to see what happens the next years.
Yeah, thanks a lot. There's one more comment again from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Great example of the deeper learning and relationship and community building that can result from these collaborative projects. Thank you. And
thank you, Sean.
Very well, yes. Just one more question, because people think that, for instance, finance, oh, that's an awkward subject. But I think you used your financing problems to anchor your project in the surrounding society. Because your pupils had to go out and find funding at their home and at their society. So the funding has a function, not to get money in, but to bring the message out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a bit like renewable or upcycling, even the things you wouldn't expect to be functional, like getting something as mundane as money suddenly has an extra function. I think it's very impressive. Yes. But we have to do as much as we can with as little resources as are possible. And you have been able to use all resources, expected and unexpected. That's very interesting. There are more pupils in your school than who could join the project, I think.
Yeah.
How did that turn out?
Well, yeah. The school has about 500 students, and the core of my group was between like 10 and 20 students. And around that, I decided by step how many students can I introduce into the project. So one of the main projects was to do the outside surface. All the little tiny wooden pieces had to nail on. So in that phase, at that time, I was able to introduce about 200 students into the project.
Whoa.
But that was the biggest. And
Yeah.
in other phases, I had at other times there were less. But the core 10 to 20 people were always there every week, and the important part was to organize it at the other time slot at the week. There was about 10 people.
I can also imagine.
How old were these? Sorry, 10 to 20 students that you're working with?
How old they were?
Yeah, which grade?
About 14 up. Okay.
Sorry, Harm.
Yeah, no. Because the other interesting thing is if you bring in on a school, not everybody wants to be a math teacher. They all have visions about what they want to become. But I can imagine if you for somehow dream you want to be a lawyer, or you dream you want to be a farmer, or you want to be that. For all of these people, and there would be something in the project, which would also mean that I think a lot of your colleagues from different subjects would be interested in the project, because if I'm doing economics, I mean, this would be a perfectly economical project.
Yep.
You're able to incorporate your fellow teachers into the project as well, so they could use it in the classroom. So it's not only, as we say, it's dry theory, but real life stuff you can see and smell and work with, even in economy, which is also quite abstract. Yeah.
Yeah. Not all over the 50 colleagues, but a few of them, they catch the fire and were involved and took even the responsibility in the project, but a few.
Yeah.
I actually, at the very beginning, I thought, if I am excited, I have the chance. A lot of other colleagues are excited about the project, but well, a few were.
But that's already something, huh?
Yeah, right. And I'm glad I had them.
Yeah. And you never can get them all.
Yeah.
And the house is there. So
yeah, it is.
That's so.
And it's a cool place to educate sustainability and future for the next years.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, really nice. All right. Are there any more questions from the participants? We can wait a minute or two. Otherwise, I want to say thank you, David, for taking again some time for showing us your magnificent project. We will put this recording also on our portal. So there's hopefully a lot of other people that can see also this recording. And yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for everyone participating and asking questions. And have a nice evening. See you soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.